Hello friends, if you are currently receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, the Social Security Administration has made changes in 2026 that directly affect how your benefits are calculated, how much you are allowed to earn without losing them, and under what circumstances they can review your case and reduce or terminate your payments. The SSA did not send you a letter explaining any of this in plain language. They updated the rules, published them in regulatory language most people cannot parse, and moved on. What I'm doing today is going through every change that affects SSDI recipients right now in 2026, what each one means in real dollar terms, and exactly what you need to check about your own case before a mistake gets made that cannot be undone. Before we get into it, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please do that right now and turn on the bell. Here is why it specifically matters for SSDI recipients. The rules around disability benefits are among the most complicated and most frequently changed in the entire Social Security system. Substantial gainful activity limits change every year. Medical review timelines shift. Work incentive rules get updated. And when those changes happen, the SSA does not call you, does not mail you a personal explanation, and does not remind you before a deadline passes. What I do on this channel is take those changes, translate them into plain language, and get them to you before they cost you money. The people who are subscribed find out in time to act. The ones who aren't tend to find out after their check has already been reduced or after a review has already been triggered. Subscribe now, turn on the bell, and let's go through exactly what changed and what it means for you. There are 3 major changes SSDI recipients need to understand in 2026. I'm going to go through each one, explain what it is, tell you what it means in actual dollars, and tell you what, if anything, you need to do about it right now. Change number 1 is the substantial gainful activity limit, and this is the one that affects the most people, because violating it, even accidentally, can trigger a review that puts your entire benefit at risk. Here is the rule. If you are receiving SSDI, the SSA monitors whether you are working. If you earn above a certain monthly threshold, they consider you capable of substantial gainful activity. And if you are capable of substantial gainful activity, the legal basis for your disability benefit disappears. In 2026, the SGA limit for non-blind SSDI recipients is $1,620 per month. For blind recipients, it is $2,700 per month. Now $1,620 sounds straightforward, but here is where people get into serious trouble. The SSA does not just look at your paycheck, they look at the value of work you perform. If you do any work, paid or unpaid, that has a market value above the SGA threshold, that can count. Volunteering in certain circumstances, bartering, performing services in exchange for rent or food, these can all factor into the SSA's calculation. And most SSDI recipients have no idea this is the standard. The SSA also has a process called impairment-related work expenses, known as IRWE. If you have out-of-pocket costs directly related to your disability that allow you to work, medication, transportation to medical appointments, specialized equipment, those costs can be deducted from your gross earnings before the SSA applies the SGA test. What this means in real terms, if you are earning $1,800 a month but spending $250 a month on disability-related work expenses, your countable income for SGA purposes may be $1,550, below the $1,620 threshold. That is the difference between keeping your benefit and losing it. If you are doing any work at all while receiving SSDI, report it to SSA immediately. Report it before they find it. If the SSA discovers unreported work income, they can determine you were never entitled to benefits during that period and demand repayment, sometimes going back years. The average SSDI overpayment notice in recent years has been over $9,000. Some have been over $50,000. Reporting proactively is always safer than being discovered. Change number 2 involves something called the Continuing Disability Review, or CDR. This is the process by which SSA periodically checks whether you still qualify as disabled under their definition. And in 2026, The rules around when and how these reviews are triggered have shifted in ways that are catching people off guard. Here is the background. When you are first approved for SSDI, SSA assigns your case a review schedule based on how likely your condition is to improve. Cases marked as medical improvement expected are reviewed every 6 to 18 months. Cases marked medical improvement possible are reviewed every 3 years. Cases marked medical improvement not expected are reviewed every 5 to 7 years. What changed in 2026 is that SSA significantly increased its CDR processing capacity, following funding allocations from the prior year, more staff, more automated screening, and a renewed push to work through a backlog that had grown substantially during the pandemic years. The practical effect is that reviews that were delayed are now happening, and in higher volume. Why does this matter if your condition hasn't changed? Because a CDR is not just about your medical condition. It is also about your documentation, specifically whether your medical records are current, consistent, and contain the specific language SSA needs to confirm your disability. There is a critical mistake people make between CDRs. They stop seeing their treating physician regularly, either because they feel stable because of cost or because transportation is difficult. When a CDR arrives and SSA requests medical records, a gap of 2 or 3 years without documented treatment can make it appear that your condition improved, even if it did not. The SSA looks at what your records say, not what you tell them your condition is. If you have not seen your treating physician within the last 6 months, schedule an appointment now, not because your condition has changed, because your records need to reflect your current functional limitations in current medical language. The question SSA asks in a CDR is not, does this person have a diagnosis? It is, does this person's current medical records support the conclusion that they cannot perform substantial gainful activity? Those are different questions, and your records need to answer the second one. If you receive a CDR packet in the mail, it comes as an SSA 455 form. You have 60 days to respond. Do not ignore it. Do not set it aside. Missing the response deadline is treated as a failure to cooperate, and SSA can suspend your benefits without ever reviewing your medical file. If you receive one and need help responding, contact your local Social Security office or a benefits counselor. Do not handle it alone if you are unsure. Change number 3 involves something SSA calls work incentives, specifically the trial work period and the extended period of eligibility. These are protections that exist specifically to allow SSDI recipients to attempt returning to work without immediately losing their benefits. Most SSDI recipients do not know the details of either one, and not knowing them costs people real money. Here is how it works. When you are on SSDI and you start working, SSA does not immediately terminate your benefits. You are entitled to a trial work period, 9 months, not necessarily consecutive, during which you can work and earn any amount and still receive your full SSDI check. In 2026, a month counts as a trial work period month if you earn more than $1,110 in that month, or if you are self-employed and work more than 80 hours. After you have used all 9 trial work period months within a 60-month rolling window, your benefits continue for 3 additional months, while SSA evaluates your earnings. Then your extended period of eligibility begins. For the following 36 months, if your earnings drop below the SGA threshold, $1,620 in 2026, in any given month, your benefits can be reinstated for that month without a new application. Here is the real-world value of this protection. If you attempt to return to work, earn above the SGA limit for a period of time, and then your condition worsens and you have to stop working, you have a 36-month window to have your benefits reinstated without starting the entire application process over. The average SSDI application currently takes 22 months to be approved. The extended period of eligibility eliminates that waiting period entirely. For people who are still within it, most SSDI recipients who attempt to return to work do not know this protection exists. They stop working, assume they have to reapply, wait nearly 2 years, go without income, when in fact they had the right to immediate reinstatement the entire time. If you are within your extended period of eligibility and your work situation has changed, Call SSA at 1-800-772-1213 and ask them specifically about expedited reinstatement. Those two words, expedited reinstatement, will get you to the right process. Use them. There is one more thing I want to cover that is not a rule change, but is directly relevant to every SSDI recipient watching this. The Social Security Administration has an online portal at SSA.gov called My Social Security. Inside that portal, you can see your complete benefit payment history, the earnings record SSA has on file for you, any notices SSA has sent regarding your case, and the current review category assigned to your case. The majority of SSDI recipients have never logged in. They receive their check, they assume everything is in order, and they find out there is a problem only when something goes wrong. A notice they did not see, a review that was triggered, an address that never got updated and caused correspondence to go to the wrong place. Log into SSA.gov today. Create an account if you do not have one. Check your payment history against your own records. Confirm your contact information is current, and check whether there are any notices or pending actions on your account. 5 minutes now can prevent months of problems later. Here is the complete summary of what every SSDI recipient needs to know right now. The substantial gainful activity limit is $1,620 per month for non-blind recipients in 2026. If you are doing any work, report it to SSA immediately and ask about impairment-related work expenses that may reduce your countable income. Do not wait for SSA to find it. CDR volume has increased significantly in 2026 due to expanded processing capacity. If you have not seen your treating physician recently, schedule an appointment now so your medical records reflect your current functional limitations. If you receive an SSA 455 form in the mail, respond within 60 days. If you have previously attempted to return to work and stopped, ask SSA whether you are still within your extended period of eligibility. If you are, and your earnings have dropped below $1,620, you may be entitled to immediate benefit reinstatement without a new application. Use the words expedited reinstatement when you call, and go to SSA.gov right now. Create or log into your My Social Security account and confirm that your information is current and that there are no pending actions on your case. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell. Share this with someone you know who is receiving SSDI, because the people who need this information most are usually the ones nobody remembered to tell. I'll see you in the next one.